Julius Malema, the head of the EFF, bemoaned what he called ideological infiltration and treachery among his party's ranks in a scathing speech at the Gauteng General Assembly. Malema has been devastated by the recent departure of important figures, comparing these departures to assassination attempts against the movement he helped build. One of the most prominent resignations was that of Floyd Shivambu, a loyal supporter and co-founder of Malema who recently joined the MK party, MKP, which was accused of corruption by former President Jacob Zuma. Malema's worries have been heightened by the fact that a number of prominent EFF members have joined Shivambu since his departure, including MPs Mzwaneli Mani and Bizisai Mkhwebane, former National Chairman Dali Mpofu, and Alfred Motsi, the party's first North-West coordinator. Malema made it apparent in his address that he was referring to Shivambu and others, although he did not identify individuals who had gone. The most serious levels of infiltration have most recently occurred inside the EFF. The movement's founders, who were transformed into sleeper agents and double spies who sat among us but reported elsewhere, have been responsible for this infiltration, he said clearly. Malema is clearly frustrated with the state of affairs. The ideological infiltration, he said, was a malevolent force that had been let to spread unfettered. The term infiltration best describes the process of intentionally establishing oneself within an organization for the purposes of sabotage, deceit, and betrayal. It is not a catchphrase used to disparage those who disagree with us, he said. The MK party, MKP, will be notably absent from the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, planned march to the Constitutional Court tomorrow, according to EFF leader Julius Malema. Malema made it plain in a statement issued before to the demonstration that while the EFF welcomes all of its followers, the MKP will not be participating in the march. With the exception of MKP, we will all march to the Constitutional Court tomorrow. Mentioning the escalating tensions between the EFF and the MKP, a party founded by former MK, Umkhonto Sizwe veterans, Malema said, if they want to march, they must organize their own. Recent disagreements between the two political bodies seem to be the cause of this decision. The ANC-aligned National Unity Government has been supported by both the EFF and MKP, but disagreements within both parties over how to handle important matters, such as the future of their separate positions in South African politics, have become more pronounced. Supported by former veterans of the liberation struggle, the MKP has been a strong opponent of the EFF's approach to matters pertaining to the heritage of the ANC and its supporters. MKP leaders contend that the EFF, led by Malema, has often disregarded the roles played by MK veterans in the fight for South Africa's independence, and their exclusion from this march is only one example of that conflict. In sharp contrast to the more conventional ANC-aligned groups, the EFF has been outspoken about its support for social justice, economic freedom, and land expropriation. Despite the wider collaboration with parties that formerly battled together for liberation, Malema's statement that the MKP should plan its own march shows the parties will to preserve its identity and independence. Given that both parties are trying to establish their presence in the political sphere, the decision to exclude MKP from tomorrow's march is probably going to widen the gap between them even further. All eyes will be on how this exclusion affects the larger political narrative and if it marks a new stage in the EFF's national leadership strategy as the protest progresses.